Yo guys, this is Reinhardt, and this video is going to be about Unholy Decay 5.4 Pressure Master. There's a lot of big changes going on with the Unholy Decays, and we're gonna touch pretty much every one of them. And this video is going to be about both how to put out a really good pressure and how to play more defensively with the new glyphs. I believe that 5.4 changes actually are big enough to change the way how we play and our playstyle a little bit, so this is what this video is going to be about. Now, in my last videos, I covered the Rune management, pet management, macros, decay add-ons and UI, and MOP Pressure Master. So I'm not going to be covering this in that video. I'm just going to put a links in the description below and annotate it at the end. What I'm going to be covering this one is a new priority rotation, pet management, the new macros, and also of course the new glyphs and new talents and the new changes, so to say. So basically, from what we talked last time, and if you've seen my unofficial Pressure Master, I calculated the plug glitch gonna increase our necrotics by average of anywhere from 25 to 35%. The amount of necrotics or the amount of death runes that we're gonna get, which is pretty much awesome, and I think it's a great trade-off for one plague strike or one auto break. So what we're gonna be covering right now is how to actually customize your playstyle to the point where plug glitch becomes essential and it would be much easier to play with it. Let's take a look at the advantages of basically rolling blood. First of all, it's easy to apply diseases. It's also added damage from the blood bowl. When you do a blood bowl in the beginning, not only you don't have to do pestilence, but your blood bowl does initial damage, and it also makes your rotation a lot simpler. The biggest disadvantage of it though, it overrides the existing diseases, and it can be potentially a damage loss. Okay, well, let's take a look how the overriding your disease actually works. So basically right now I'm gonna apply my disease on this done. I'm gonna wait for my procs, and all of them procs, so I'm activating my glyph enchant, and I'm gonna refresh my diseases and I'm gonna pestilence around. Let's take a look at my disease damage right now. So we have 26,661 and roughly about 25,300. So I pestilence when I had all my procs and everything going for me. Now what happens if I actually need to get my death rune over here and convert my blood rune to a death rune, and I need to blood boil? So I'm blood boiling, and again it gonna override my disease, where this thing is gonna take for 26,000, this thing takes for only 13,700. So I just lost 50% of my disease damage because I decided to override my diseases with the rolling blood. Now let's take a look at advantages and disadvantages of the plug glitch. First of all, it increases your death runes count by anywhere from 25 to 35%. It's a great on-demand damage and it's a really good on-demand rotation filler. But the biggest disadvantages are of course it consumes the existing diseases on the target, and it also adds a lot of micromanagement because we're gonna have to have basically 3 new keybinds instead of 1. Well, let's take a look how the actual plug glitch can be really effective in RPGs as well as arenas, and how it actually helps you out a lot with your rotation filler. So for example, if you guys know, in RPGs it's all about just doing a massive damage, massive spread out damage as a decay. So let's say I want to do a hard swap to a healer. I'm saying 3, 4, 1 swap to this healer. So I'm gonna do a couple necrotics. Guess what? Consuming plug glitches will actually further let me do a couple more blood bowls and keep my rotation flowing, while at the same time I'm trying to do a hard swap to somebody. And the same thing actually really applies into arenas as well. Especially works really well with the blood taps. So you could say something like, okay, let's switch to a healer in 3, 2, 1, and you can dish out at least 4 necros with a plug glitch and a blood tap as well. When it comes to micromanagement, of course plug glitch will take time. Basically all we're doing right now is we're using a blood bowl as our main disease spread and AoE damage, and also convert our blood runes into a death runes because blood strike is worthless. So what do you do now is basically you're gonna have to bind pestilence separately, then you're gonna have to bind plug glitch separately, and another complexity added from the plug glitch is basically you will need to know when to do a pestilence and when to do a blood bowl to maximize your pressure. Done correctly, it will actually increase your damage by a lot, if it's done correctly. And while we cannot do anything with the micromanagement and added the keybinds, the way we can actually take a good positive outlook on the plug glitch and sort of like overcome the disadvantages are, first of all, use an auto break in conjunction with a plug glitch. Do a focus plug glitch and a mouse over once, and I'm gonna show you guys right this second. But first, before going to the game, remember this macro, look it up in the description below. There's gonna be this macro for a plug glitch because it's gonna save our asses and it's gonna give us extra kills. I already tested it. So what this macro essentially does is basically, the way I thought about it is, what is the best way to use your plug glitch? And of course, auto break, you're gonna use auto break there consistently with it. But to be honest, everybody thought that the glyph is amazing of auto break, and it's actually gonna increase our plug glitch applications by a whole lot. But basically what essentially the glyph does, it actually makes our plug glitch cost at least 30 runic power. And sometimes we need that runic power to either heal ourselves, get those blood tap stacks from our talent, or furthermore do actually extra damage. So in that sense, even though that glyph is pretty decent, I do not think we have to pick it because it's just a cost of it is a little bit too high in my opinion. So what are the other ways to do it when you outbreak on cooldown and you want to use your plug glitch? Well, the very first one is actually very simple. What you do is you pestilence around and then you mouse over plug glitch. So let me actually consume some you mouse over plug glitch and you're gonna get those diseases, those extra death runes as well. So basically mouse overing. Now mouse overing, this could be done to other players or non-essential targets like pets. Example, if you have a BM hunter running around and you pestilence around, well, go ahead and go nuts and then mouse over and pestilence your plug glitch and get those extra death runes for your kill target as well. The other great way to actually do it is actually use it on a focus. Let's put it this way, let's say you're running with a mage or you're running with a hunter, and the hunter needs to trap somebody and you have a disease on your healer. Well, guess what, you can actually plug glitch those diseases out of the enemy healer so your hunter or somebody else in your group can do a CC. But another great way to do it is, let's say a healer is about to get CC'd and you need to get that kill, and let's put it for sake of reasoning, you actually did a pestilence and you put extra diseases on the healer, which you should do most of the time. Well, guess what, for you to actually add extra pressure, just go ahead and plug glitch, focus plug glitch, and plug glitch those diseases, consume the diseases of your focus target and use them to kill your primary target, such as DPS. Therefore, I think in the actual 2v2 with a plug glitch, we can be in a great shape if we're actually going to be playing with a healer who can CC the enemy healer a lot. For example, priests or druids or even paladins. When it comes to pretty much rotation changes, well, it's actually there's not much of a changes. Necros damage shifted from physical to absorption, our Soul Reaper got buffed a whole lot, and then the priority spell damage actually is still the same thing. It's your priority in terms of your diseases, your coils, your necros, and your Soul Reaper as a main source of killing shit. Now let's take a look at some of the interesting talent changes we have. So I think that plug glitch is going to be predominant. Glyph of Anti-Magic Zone is also going to be pretty interesting shit. Basically they actually nerfed it in my opinion, where it went to a 40% damage reduction baseline and it's a 33-second duration only. I just don't think that to be honest, damage mitigation itself could be warranted that much. I do think that Lichborn is a far superior choice when it comes to actually talent picking, because not only gets us out of CCs, it also provides extremely good healing for us as well. In terms of defensive, I think Lichborn is winning. Maybe if we need a peel at the critical moments, like for example Rogue's Killing Spree, maybe then Anti-Magic Zone could prove useful. But then again, keep in mind, it has only 3-second duration, so you have to put it right out there right now, and sometimes it's actually extremely difficult thing to do. Now when it comes to third tier talents, I believe that Asphyxiate is winning there by popularity and practice. Basically, I think Asphyxiate is going to be really good for comps like Shadowcliff that do not have a stun. And on the other hand, I do think the Chillblains and Death Vents could still prove to be useful with the classes that have a lot of stuns going on as well. Now, everybody talked to me about, like, tweeted me and asked me on Facebook what I think of a new Death Siphon, especially with a new plug glitch, that we might get some decent healing out of Death Siphon. And you know guys, I'm a mathematics person. I calculate shit very easily. 5 times 5 equals to 25. Shit plus 10% equals to shit. And this is what this talent is. I just don't think that losing one necrotic strike losing good amount of damage from it is warranted by some sort of a gimpy ass heal, especially when we have to give up conversion and death back for that talent as well. So for PvE, Death Siphon might be really good, but in my opinion conversion is definitely a really good thing to pick, and I think it's still gonna be dominated in the next patch as well. And there's nothing wrong with it. Finally we actually have some sort of a sustained healing damage reduction. Now let's talk about the Blood Tap. I think Blood Tap is still gonna be the best thing to choose, and for arenas, Desecrating Ground will be number 1, for RBGs, Gorfin's Grasp gonna be number 1, for noobs, Remorseless Winter is gonna be number 1 pick. In all honesty, not trying to troll here or anything, but it's really hard to get off the Remorseless Winter at a high level of play unless you maybe pre-asphyxiate beforehand. So with that said, let's take a look at the next glyphs right now. Glyph of Regenerative Magic I think is going to be a must to have for RBGs, and it's also going to be a must against a high caster melee or even double caster teams. Then I do think that from there we can actually take a pick. I think against caster cliffs, Dark Simulacrum is going to be really good. Against the melee cliffs and druids, Glyph of Death and Decay is also very important and invaluable thing to pick. Against, for example, monks, rogues, warriors, and classes that have a lot of stun, Glyph of Icebound Fortitude, especially with a new Icebound Fortitude, is going to be also a really strong pick. The other one that actually I'm very curious about is Glyph of Festering Blood. Basically what it does, it lets the Blood Bolt do full damage regardless if you had diseases on the target or not, and I think it's actually gonna increase our DPS in RBGs by a whole lot. And the reason why I'm actually saying that is because, well, think about it, how many like pets and other things that actually been summoned, and how many just basically players that don't have a disease or dispel diseases gonna get hit a lot less by a Blood Bolt. So Festering Blood is gonna be awesome for that. The only thing I'm gonna say is Festering Blood is gonna be have an extremely good synergy with the Rolling Blood and a so-so with the Plague Leech. And basically from there I would actually say that for RBGs our main glyphs will be Glyph of Pestilence, Regenerative Magic, and Festering Blood for extreme high damage. Maybe Glyph of Dark Simulacrum could be potentially really good there, and Death and Decay as well. For arenas, it's all gonna be depend on what you're gonna pick, but I think it's gonna be Dark Simulacrum, Death and Decay. I'm very curious about Death Call because in a full Grievous gear, I heard it can get up to like 40k without procs, 40-45k absorption. So it could be actually potentially a really strong glyph to pick. And then I'm also gonna say that another glyph that is gonna be really good for us to pick for arena is gonna be Icebound Fortitude, Icy Touch, and it's all gonna be depend. If you're gonna be fighting against the casters that don't have a lot of trash debuffs, Icy Touch is gonna be very strong. Like I always said in my videos, guys, please think for yourself. There's no set stone which glyphs you have to pick for which particular fight. Make sure you're switching them on and off all the time. Overall, I think the entire season is gonna be shifted from a high burst, pop your fucking zoo, pop your wings, go for the kill, no matter what happens. From that to something more of a sustained damage. The reason why I'm thinking that is basically everybody's getting about 28% damage mitigation on PTR. And damage looks more about the sustain than actually burst. And I'm really hoping it's gonna stay that way. And if there are gonna be any extreme amounts of burst, Blizzard's gonna take a look at it and fix it. And at least we're gonna have one really good patch of enjoying PvP without thinking of PvE gear, without actually hoping for that kind of crap as well. And like I'm always saying, DKs are gonna be looking in a really good shape. Our Plague Leech is gonna be amazing. It's definitely gonna add a lot more skill to the class and a lot more depth to the class as well. And I do think it's also gonna add a lot more flexibility into our rotation and rune management. And like I said, I'm strongly gonna advise people who just starting out on Unholy, watch my other videos and get used to them first before looking into this one, because this one is gonna be more over high level DK play. Because not everybody wanna run with a Plague Leech, because there's a lot of other stuff that Unholy DK have to do. And like always guys, I said thank you a lot for watching my video. Check out my other videos in the links below. So don't please ask me any fucking questions about the macros, about UI or add-ons or anything else, because I have a separate videos for those as well. Thanks everybody for watching, and до свидания. PS, if you have any questions about the path management, rune management, macros, Unholy Decay add-ons, and overall the Pressure Master and the rotation, priority rotation, please check out those videos, because in this video all I touched base is a new playstyle for Mists of Pandaria 5.4 patch.